Hey everyone, today's subject is the critically middling Deadpool game, starring Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, as well as a large portion of the X-Men / X-Force cast, being Wolverine, Cable, Domino, Rogue, and Psylocke. The game starts off simply enough within Wade's apartment. This doubles as the first level for the story where Deadpool threatens High Moon Studios into making him a game.
It's Peter Delafina from High Moon Studios. You know, the guy you kept calling dickhead when you cornered me in the parking lot the other night? Anyway, looked over your proposal. Not gonna pretend I understand any of it, but the answer is no. We're gonna pass on your big game idea.
What? You said no? That was our chance to be in our own video game.
Maybe we shouldn't have written the proposal in crayon. Relax. You know he's gonna call back.
The apartment has many interactables sprinkled throughout to entertain the players, such as playing air guitar, making pancakes.
I love the smell of pancakes in the morning. Smells like victory.
And dropping a stinky pickle in the porcelain throne. After the player feels ready to start the main experience, they're able to grab a package with the script from a fangirl outside his door. After making a couple rewrites with crayon, he sets out for the second level and the real start of the game. Our opening act sees Deadpool loosely following the script, climbing Chance White's penthouse / news studio, slaughtering his legions of clone guards he purchased off of the game's main villain, Mr. Sinister, a prominent X-Men antagonist. On the way up the tower, Deadpool starts singing for a bit in the elevator, and hijacks Chance White's helicopter and crashes it into the top floor, fighting some bulky Sinister clones before Wade knocks out Mr. Media Mogul out the window and into the bounce castle Deadpool had set up at the start of the level during the tutorial section. During this, there's an entertaining bit where Deadpool threatens the cameraman to keep Wade in frame, allowing Arclight and Vertigo to kidnap Chance. After this, Deadpool is sent chasing after them through the sewers, and we encounter a Zelda-like section for a few rooms before that's quickly abandoned, and we return to the chase, showing early on that the game is going to be very gag-heavy and comedically driven, which I enjoy a lot. I think it has some flaws, but it works well enough, and I think it complements the hack-and-slash platformer nature of the gameplay. I couldn't really see a serious story being alongside this. For what we get, wacky fun is fine. After exploring the sewer some more, we get a boss fight with Arclight and a pretty simple lever puzzle with Vertigo. Chance White is then killed by Blockbuster under Mr. Sinister's orders, which pisses off Deadpool enough to knock out Blockbuster and put a bullet in Vertigo's skull, killing her instantly. After this, he gets his entire body exploded Quan Chi style by Mr. Sinister, and then he's left as just a head. After regenerating, he's woken up by Wolverine and some of the other X-Men. Deadpool teams up with them, hijacking the Blackbird in the process, crashing the jet in Genosha, the mutant utopia turned mass genocide site, with plenty of destroyed Sentinels spread throughout the ruins of Magneto's former paradise. After slapping an unconscious Wolverine a few dozen times, Deadpool leaves to explore the level, meeting everyone's favorite time-traveling Terminator man, Cable, who has come from the future to help ensure Sinister's plan doesn't work, as it will lead to the end of the world. Deadpool, bored of the conversation, shoots himself in the head to escape talking about it. After waking up, Deadpool finds a note from Cable stabbed into his chest, telling him to hurry or else Wade will miss the fangirl waiting for him. After regrouping and coming to the realization that there was no fangirl, Deadpool ignores Cable's advice and attempts to destroy the broadcast tower, unleashing a magnetic storm in the process. After killing Mr. Sinister's clone, Cable reprimands Wade. After morphing into a taco, Cable explains that Deadpool's favorite taco stand would be destroyed if they don't stop Mr. Sinister's plot. This motivates Wade to modify a Sentinel foot for transport with Cable's help. After using various Sentinel pieces to help scavenge for parts, we return to Cable and launch off after Magneto's Citadel. After a few extra stomps on the way, while dispatching cloned goons, only to end up crashing into a prison with Rogue. Deadpool spends his time in the prison rigging an explosive trap to free Rogue, before promptly forgetting the task at hand and proceeding to kill another Sinister clone, mistaking it for the real deal. After being told off by Cable once more, Deadpool has a boss fight with Blockbuster before freeing Rogue and getting freaky with some skin-to-skin, so Rogue can drain Deadpool's healing factor with her powers and fight off the goons for a short duration of time. During the fight, Deadpool's dog, Mr. Shugums, temporarily kills the Merc with a mouth, reuniting him with his lover Death, who explains Sinister's plan to exhume the corpses for the mutated DNA samples. Deadpool, on a quest to help Lady Death, proceeds to blast his way through Genosha's catacombs, facing 3 trials based on Buddhist teachings: hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. After retrieving the souls and triggering the collapse of the catacombs, Wade encounters Lady Death one last time before his healing factor kicks in and he wakes up on the surface of Genosha once more. After talking with Wolverine, Deadpool finally marches his way over to Magneto's Citadel, slaughtering the remaining clones during a platforming section on the floating islands until he finally reaches the game's last arena. This is where you're going to spend the majority of the final level fighting off wave after wave after wave of clone enemies, until you're forced to fight Archlight, Blockbuster, and Vertigo all at once. A clear last-minute addition to pad out the game's runtime, some more before we reach a pretty long but easy boss fight with Mr. Sinister and his many doppelgangers, until the final cutscene triggers and the big bad gets crushed by the Sentinel Foot from earlier, foreshadowed near the start of the game when Deadpool was editing the script with a pretty abrupt but entertaining conclusion, even if it stumbled near the end a little bit. The Deadpool game is a pretty entertaining character action game. The combo system has your typical light and heavy attacks, as well as a double jump and teleport buttons for use during platforming sections. And the combat as well has various firearms which can be used for third-person shooting or gun kata attacks that work with your typical combos. Deadpool also has a variety of throwable weapons and a momentum mechanic that allows him to use combos with a fuel meter for your weapons that allow you to use what are essentially super moves that help you shred your way through enemies even faster throughout the game. You can purchase weapons and upgrades with the Deadpool points that you can find scattered about the game, as well as earning them through enemy encounters. Deadpool also has access to a wall jump to help him scale the various levels. All in all, it's a pretty straightforward path with the gameplay that isn't particularly amazing, but it does the job well enough, keeping you entertained as the plot progresses. Nothing mind-blowing, but definitely an experience I'd recommend if you could get your hands on a physical copy. Sadly though, the game's been removed from online retailers due to it being a Marvel licensed game from Activision at a time when their license was expiring. It did return shortly after in 2015, right before the first Deadpool movie dropped, only to be ripped from store shelves soon after in 2017, making this a bit of a harder title to obtain at the end though. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10 chimichangas. Not perfect, but definitely a fun time all around. And with that, I'll end today's episode here. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like and maybe even subscribe, especially if you want to catch my streams. I'm thinking the next game on the chopping block will be Suda51 and James Gunn's Lollipop Chainsaw, so stay tuned for that. See ya!
I wanna go home!